Any fouls throughout the course of a game, and what makes her so special, not just because she's 6'5", she puts her hands straight up in the air, and that's how she gets the blocks.
And at 6'5", you really have to put a lot of torque and arc on the shot. Marie Malone to the line, hitting the first.
What I like about her, too, is she's such a coach on the floor. Every possession, she's directing her teammates where to go, how to play. And when you got a player like that, that also is your spokesperson, that's a great sign.
Loper got the offensive rebound. It comes to Bond, and it's a three-point sequence for Hofstra.
Oh, this is what Hofstra needed at this juncture, to really chip away, and now it becomes a two-possession game.
Bond nearly came up with a turnover. Shot clock at 10. Belladon got it back. It came too easy.
Way too easy, and she just showed, for the kids watching the game, how effective the give-and-go play can be. And it gives you a little extra help when you're 6'5".
Bellocchio with a tough off-balance fadeaway.
And for the kids watching, showing at 5'6", size does not matter when you can score like that.
Tina Martin able to get the timeout just as Kayla Miller was going to run into some trouble. And Tina Martin not happy about something. Timeout Blue Hens with 6:41 to go, second half. So for Delaware, I asked Tina Martin, well, what kind of defense have you faced the most this season with Elena? She said a box-and-one or a man-to-man with essentially a double team instantly on the catch. Hofstra has chosen against the box-and-one tonight. They've gone with the instant double, but you could say a very mixed or limited success at that.
Well, it was very successful the first 4 minutes when you have the energy level, and it takes time for someone like Adela Don to adjust. But a kid like that, she has such good court sense that she can find ways to find the open seams. And you know, starting out the game, she had 4 points in the first 5-6 minutes. She's got 34 points already.
And it took her about 3 minutes to get a shot off. Kayla Miller trapped and got it to Richards. Deladon was crowded. It leaves Lucas wide open.
And when you're going to double up on Deladon, that means somebody else is open on the floor.
And Lucas not a great shooter, just 27% from three and 30 from the field. And she's made Hofstra pay a couple times. In addition to Deladon, Parker with 14, Lucas with 11. Malone, it rolled right to Bellocchio. Shot clock to 5, and she flipped it up right back to Deladon.
And a tough possession there. They really didn't get a good look at the basket.
And Delaware's only loss this season, it came on the road at Maryland. Highly talented team. Deladon had 32. As the shot won't go. And here's Bellocchio pulling up at the free throw line.
And Bellocchio continues to really keep them in this game. And it's 21 points for her tonight. That's a great game for Candace Bellocchio.
And it ties her career high. Thomas trying to pressure Miller. 5 minutes to play. Deladon pulling up again. And a long rebound to Thomas. Well, you wonder how much she has left in the tank. She's played every single minute of this game. She's had a number of 40-minute games this year. Loper off there on the three.
Well, I think she has plenty in her tank. I think she just carries 2 tanks with her, and that allows her to get up and down the floor, and you can tell she is a fierce competitor.
Well, she's an SUV. Foul on the floor. A shot won't count. We have a Hofstra foul, and Candace Bond upset.
Well, not just her, she's upset. Candace, Krista Kilburn-Staveski is upset as well. And you look at it, I don't see where the upset is. She drew a couple fouls, a lot of contact there.
Kathy Lonergan away from the play, explaining to Krista Kilburn-Staveski. Well, it's a big problem because you put EDD at the line where she is nearly automatic. Now Hofstra in a single bonus against them. And Deladon just about on pace to match her season high of 41, set against the Pride on January 26th. It is not her career high. That was a school record 54 set last year as a junior at James Madison. So we got a long way to go to get there. 8-point game. Capurso inside Marie Malone, and the foul.
And Marie Malone has been the X factor tonight for the Hofstra Pride, coming off the bench and putting up 11 points, but they have been key 11 points. And gets a great feed from Capurso and a great play inside.
Another free throw for Malone. In her third year at Hofstra, transfer originally from West Virginia. Can't get that to go, and Deladon tipping it to Lucas. Trume Lucas with Thomas all over her, but Lucas able to take it coast to coast.
And you got to get back and you got to stop ball. Elena Deladon's really pacing herself. She didn't come past half court on that play, figuring it was an easy break.
Loper quickly flipping it up, and EDD bothered it. Lucas off to Richards, and now Delaware in command. Their lead is 10 with under 4 minutes to play.
And Delaware's taking advantage of Hofstra's quick decisions and making poor decisions on the shots, and that's what that Krista Kilburn-Staveski's yelling at them right now. She knows they're within striking distance, but she also knows that time is running out.
Well, this is a battle-tested Delaware group. As we said, they've played with a target on their backs, just like tonight, every night.
Well, when they get out into the open floor, they know how to make great decisions, and this team is more than just Elena Deladon.
Richards on the finish with her first field goal. And for Tina Martin's team, consecutive transition baskets. They've also gotten the job done on the defensive end, as Evans barreling through and is lucky she didn't pick up her fifth. Instead, it's a charge, or should it say a blocking foul against Jocelyn Bailey. Timeout on the floor. Hofstra shooting free throws when we come back, trailing by 10 on Verizon Fios One Sports. A 36.9 for Elena Deladon, but it has not come easy. Delaware with a second half surge, leading Hofstra here by 10, and a game for the Hofstra Pride that is enormous in magnitude. Should they be able to come back and win this game, it would push them into the NCAA at-large discussion, give them the biggest win in program history in terms of ranking, as Shantae Evans misses a front end of a 1-and-1. But now with Hofstra's upcoming schedule, their RPI was number 58 coming into tonight. And should this score hold up, they may not be a bubble team at all, with a lot of work to do just to even get into that position, as Tina Martin has to use a timeout with Akima Richards trapped.
Well, you know, you start getting towards the end, you know, it's going to become a must-win tournament situation, depending on, then it becomes the big game of the year, is when Hofstra next week goes down to play James Madison, and that's going to be another big, crucial game for both those teams. If Hofstra doesn't beat James Madison, now they're going to be in a position where they have to win the conference tournament.
So for the Pride, as you were talking about, that schedule gets really tough because they've already lost at home to James Madison. So just to split the season series would be critical to jockeying toward the 2 seed. And in a league that figures to get an at-large team, you'd rather finish second, but of course, you still got to get the job done in the CAA tournament to probably, if you're Hofstra, reach the CAA championship game and step out on the floor against Delaware. Deladon forcing it up and hits another jumper with the smaller Thomas underneath her.
Boy, she just knows how to make the craziest shots in basketball, but they somehow fall.
Bond shooting over, Deladon gets the roll.
And a nice play there for Candace Bond. Really trying to get something going here, but they got to get a defensive stop.
Lucas circling. And Thomas, they get a reach-in foul on her. Delaware, a great free throw shooting team, #1 in the country. So they don't give you many windows of opportunity. That's going to put Lucas to the line at 81%. And that's why they are 22-1. And it took a #5 Maryland team at home to knock off Delaware by 9. But here is a rare miss. Lucas on the front end. Bellocchio. And then Thomas wanted to pull the trigger. Loper open for 3.
And a big shot there for Loper, and this has to be their final stretch run here. They have to make something, and they're going to have to make Delaware shoot some free throws very shortly.
Bond able to get a deflection on Deladon. And they are able to get it out of her hands. Now Richards. Shot clock already down to 9. Akima Richards. Jump stop and scores.
And that's how good this team is, when they can take it down to desperation time and finish the play with a high percentage shot.
And the supporting cast for the Blue Hens has stepped up at different junctures. Candace Bond off on the 3, and Deladon fouled, just using that wingspan to reach out.
And Deladon's going to be asked to make a few free throws, and she's the one you don't want on the foul line.
That is the 10th team foul. And Candace Bond is just fouled out. 6-point game. Deladon is also the reigning CAA Defensive Player of the Year, Scott, because she can alter or block anything.
Well, at 6'5", she has the ability to prevent herself from drawing fouls, but she does a great job timing shots and not drawing any contact. And this is what makes her such a special player.
A year ago, she missed 12 games due to Lyme disease symptoms. It set her back a little bit. Still went out in a game this year where she was a little banged up against Northeastern and put in 22 points with a bit of a calf issue. She did not start one game this year. So this is a warrior that you're seeing. That might be the best when all is said and done on Team USA as she gets older. She spent this past summer playing for the U.S. in the World University Games. The U.S., of course, winning the gold medal again. And Deladon, for the 4th time this year, has reached 40. 84-73. Loper, quick trigger, in and out on the 3. Miller able to rescue it to Parker. The Blue Hens, perfect in the CAA at 13-0, are going to stay there as Lucas is fouled to 14-0. And boy, if they are currently putting them as a 4 seed for the ESPN.com bracketology, you're talking at least 9, 10, 11, 12 teams that are better than this Delaware team in the selection committee's eyes. That's a tough case for me to accept when we've seen here.
Well, you still have a few more games left of the regular season, and I think if they can win out this rest of the season, go undefeated, and then run the table in the Colonial Athletic Conference tournament, you might even see this team as a #3 seed. And like I said earlier, Ralph, I would not be surprised if you see a bracket where you're going to incorporate a team like Notre Dame, or you're going to incorporate a team like Baylor to set up a showdown between two of the three best players in the country.
85-73. And the Blue Hens, well, this is the company that they're in. Their lone loss currently to #8 Maryland. Baylor, Stanford with those two great players in Diggins and Griner. So this is the type of company Delaware has, and if should Delle Donne return next year, which all signs point to that she will forego a chance at the WNBA draft and return, they're going to be even higher than that.
Well, yeah, they're going to come in. If she does return next year, they're going to come back as a #10 team in the country, and she's going to come back as probably the preseason, depending on Brittany Griner, if she moves on to the WNBA, or Sky Diggins, which she decides. It's going to be a situation where this is going to be her NCAA, and she's going to rule women's basketball at the Division I level.
Delaware narrowly lost out on the NCAAs last year. They lost in the CAA tournament final to JMU, which was a bit of a shocker. But their resume was hurt because Delle Donne missed 12 games. They finished 20-14, had to settle for their second straight WNIT under Elena. That's not going to happen this year.
Not at all. She really has taken this team, and you got to respect the whole cast that she has on this ball club. I mean, you look at some great numbers today. Besides her 40 points, Parker, Lucas, both with 14 points. You got Lucas 15 now. So you're getting a lot of double-figure scorers in.
Nicole Capurso able to step back for three. Final minute. Here is Richards. And Bellocchio looking to knock it off of Richards. Pushed it out of bounds.
Well, they're trying to get a steal and try to get some type of score. You know, I know they want to try to get this game as close as they possibly can. And there's the steal they got.
Thomas able to rise above Delle Donne and knock it away. Capurso again on the trigger. Back-to-back threes.
And now you look for a face guard here and try to get a steal in the inbounds and a quick foul.
Miller got a timeout. And that would be the person to foul. Kayla Miller, as we said a number of times, doesn't shoot the ball at all. She is 6 of 8 on the season, but very rarely does she get to the stripe. And Delaware fortunate to get a timeout.
You know, you start to look at their stats and you start thinking about Hofstra. You know, where do they go from here? You know, Candace Bellocchio, the senior, really leading this team. 21 points. Nicole Capurso coming on in the last few minutes. Kate Loper, 21 points. But you got to continue to look at Shantae Evans. 5 points on the night. 2 for 7 shooting. That is the biggest crucial element of this game tonight, Ralph.
The Blue Hens had a slow start to this game. They trailed by 5 a number of times. Very similar to the first meeting between these two teams down in Delaware. Krista Kilmer-Staveski's team had leads throughout most of the first half before Delaware seized control in the second. And a similar script had been written here. They get it to Parker, who lost it. And Shantae Evans pleading her case that she didn't touch it ahead of Lucas. 33.6 left. 3-possession game. Here's Miller, and Hofstra not fouling. Miller, and there is the foul. Again, not the worst situation because you send in a very inexperienced player to the free throw line.
But you know what? The foul needed to be called a little bit quicker. If you're going to make that foul, you don't let 4 or 5 extra seconds come off the clock. If your plan and your intention is to foul immediately, then you have to do it immediately.
And Miller just flips it up there and in. Miller is back from back surgery to repair a herniated disc a year ago. And kind of shot puts it up there, missing the seconds. 25 seconds left. Quickly, Andriana Thomas speeds ahead, missed the layup. Too fast for her own good. Here is Deladon, and she is fouled.
See, Deladon, if she didn't get fouled, she would have had the wide open breakaway. What do you think? You think she was going to throw it down?
I think she definitely can.
I would be curious to see. I watched in warm-ups. I wanted to see how high she gets up. As athletic as she is, I wouldn't be surprised if she could put it down. We've seen Brittany Griner do it.
Griner goes 6'8". Candace Parker could jam, and she's about 6'4". But in Deladon, by all accounts, she is a very classy and humble person and player. Probably not somebody that's going to do that at this kind of juncture. A 42-point night. And Hofstra certainly make her work for it. Caparso fires, way off. Here is Richards, and that's going to do it. Number 10 Delaware was threatened and challenged, but Hofstra unable to pick up that signature win. They fall by 10 tonight at the MAC. We're coming back with post-game reaction and more on Verizon Fios One Sports. Welcome back here at the MAC in Hempstead, where number 10 Delaware comes on the road and knocks off Hofstra by 10. 89-79 was the final. Ralph Benarchik back with you, joined by junior Elena Deladon. 42 points, a season best, also added 14 rebounds. And Elena, let's talk early on. It seemed like you were letting the game come to you as you normally do, and seemed like you were kind of fighting the idea of letting the game come to you versus taking over. How do you manage that so well?
I usually like to start games like that, just letting the game come to me and get a feel for the game, get a feel for the defense, because there's a lot of different defenses that have been thrown at us this season. So, I just like to take my time, get a feel for it, and then attack from there.
And you attacked so well today. What aspect of your attack did you feel most comfortable with tonight that seemed to be kind of a place where you felt comfortable and confident with?
I felt like my pull-up jump shot was very helpful tonight because they're sending double teams, and when I can just elevate over those double teams, it's definitely helpful.
You think yourself and the Blue Hens are comfortable now playing and being kind of having the target on your backs? You come in tonight in a game that has so much hype to it and the sense of urgency from Hofstra, and yet you guys seem to be comfortable with that now.
Yeah, we are. We've had that target for most of the season, so I definitely feel like we're used to it, and we're very proud of where we are, and we're ready. We might have that target, but we want to throw the first punch also.
And Elena, while you scored 42 points tonight, you may not come away victorious tonight without the help of your teammates. 2 other players with double figures. Just how about your supporting cast tonight? At different junctures, they really elevated what you guys were able to do to help you.
Danielle Parker especially had a phenomenal game tonight. Not only her scoring, but her rebounding. And she's a beast inside, and defensively, she helped guard Shantae Evans tonight, and that was a key aspect of this game. So our supporting cast is phenomenal, and that's a big reason why we're so successful this season.
Elena, on to the CAA tournament coming up. Where do you feel you guys are in terms of the progression, where you want to be once you start the NCAA tournament?
I really feel like we're peaking at the right time. And, we still have a lot to work on, obviously, but I think we're going to peak at the right time. And Coach has been doing a phenomenal job resting us and just helping us to get better each and every day in practice.
Elena, you look great. Thank you so much. 42 points, a 10-point victory tonight. Elena and the Blue Hens coming here on the road and sweeping the season series from Hofstra. We're coming back one final time to look at our final highlights from this one on Verizon Fios One Sports. Back for the final time in Hempstead, number 10 Delaware knocking off Hofstra by 10 tonight on Verizon Fios One Sports. Our postgame being brought to you by Watch ESPN. It's the ESPN Network's live on your smartphone, tablet, and computer. For further details, go to Verizon.com/FiosTV online. Well, Scott, as we look at our final highlights, what a pleasure and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity maybe for some folks to watch Elena Delle Donne do what she does.
Well, she's just a special player with all aspects of the game. When you can shoot knockdown jump shots like she does at 6'5" and take your man down low with little turnaround jump shots, and her body control tremendous. When you could shoot shots like that, it's just remarkable. And she just totally dominates the game of women's basketball. And you know, it's just amazing and a privilege to really call a game with her in it. And I look forward down the road to see what this young lady can accomplish. And you know, that's just amazing.
42 points, 14 rebounds on 13 out of 24 shooting. And it took her some time just to kind of get into the flow of it, too, as we look at the final numbers, as Delaware, for the game, shot 49%.
Well, that's terrific shooting, and a lot of those shots weren't little chippies on the inside. Those were shots they really had to earn. But you talk about free throw shooting. This is where a team like Delaware, when you shoot 19 to 23, you start coming down the stretch, you start getting into the tournament, this is where your game is going to be won or lost.
So far, Delaware hasn't done much losing. They have improved to 23-1 of the season.